Hey, welcome to part 5 of the Super Base project, and if you're wondering where I am, I'm kind of underneath my car doing a little oil change. But this is a really cool project. If you haven't watched any of the other parts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, definitely worth checking out. The rest of it's going to be crazy. You won't believe what I'm going to do to this thing, so enjoy this, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so believe it or not, I am going to make a base bridge out of this huge chunk of angle iron. Alright, like everything that I do when I start experimenting, it all starts with having a little bit of fun. And sometimes it starts with from a mistake as well. In this case, that's what happened. I ordered a black bridge with brass saddles. And what I got was a chrome bridge with brass saddles. And I thought, let's make our own bridge. With that in mind, I went and bought a ridiculously large piece of angle iron. And basically what I'm going to do is take the saddles out. So I'm going to drill back here the 4 screws, or 4 holes for these screws, and also for the strings. And because it's so oversized, I'm going to actually bolt this to the body just to go overboard. Overkill, that's what it is. The part here on the top has to be cut off, obviously, so I've just kind of made my line along here. That's where it's going to be cut. I don't know, let's see what kind of sound comes out of this. Mass is supposed to equal tone and sustain and all that yummy stuff that you want your basses and guitars to sound like. So it should be a lot of fun. I'd almost call it ridiculous, but that's kind of the whole point of this project, is to push it as far as I can without basically making the guitar out of solid steel. I've got my sidebars here. I call them that because they're bars and they go on the side. But what I've done is I've rough cut the ends, just left a little bit of space to hang over so I can trim. But before I put any mounting holes or the bridge holes in this, I have to make this a perfect fit, or at least as close as I can. So it'll take a little bit of time. I'll do it on the grinder. I'll just grind it to what I think is right and then put it in place, see how it fits, grind off anything that's a gap or a high spot. That didn't take quite as long as I thought, so that's good. That's the shape they need to be. And I can go over it with a file just to neaten it up a little bit. I'm at a point where I had to do some very careful measuring and some thinking before I went ahead and drilled the hole, because if I didn't really work this out, I could end up drilling through something I don't want to drill through, and that would be the pickup route on the front of the body. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mount this insert into the back of the guitar body, and that is for the side, these side bars. That's the mounting screw that will go in just underneath here. On the front of this body, that's the edge of where the pickup holes are, the pickup routes. So the problem is I don't want to drill too far and drill into that pickup route. So what I've done is I've measured everything out very carefully, and this line represents how far down I can drill from the back of the body. And about 1/8 of an inch below that line is where the pickup route ends. So it's just enough so I can put that insert in, and everything's fine and it fits perfectly. The bolt I can trim off later, that's not a problem. I have the depth gauge set on the drill press, so it's going to stop just where I want it. So I've got my holes drilled in the back of the body. They're 1/4 inch holes, and that's the right size for the bolt, and that's the one that fits through the sidebar. But for the insert to fit into the back of the guitar body, this hole has to be bigger. So this is really like a guide hole for now, and so it needs to be 7/16 to fit the insert. So to do that, I could just jump ahead and drill this with a 7/16 bit. But what could happen is, because it's so much larger, the bit can shift a little bit as it's drilling. So just a little trick is to gradually go with a bigger and bigger bit. So in the drill press I have a slightly bigger bit, and then I'll go to a bigger bit, and then finally the 7/16, and that'll help to keep that hole centered so that it doesn't move or distort and end up not fitting the steel bar. So I've tested these inserts. They fit. I've trimmed my bolts. They're all to the right size. So what I'm going to do now is put the inserts in. And usually I use a little bit of glue, like white glue or carpenter's glue, something like this. But I'm going to use epoxy this time just because this stuff is super strong and it dries a lot faster. What I like to do is get it in on both surfaces, so there's really good contact, and I like to mush it right in there. I've already put the inserts in to test fit them, so there's already kind of like a thread worn into the wood. So just filling up all that grain, all those threads with epoxy. Kind of fill the threads of the insert. This will ensure that it is in there solidly. Just got to find those threads. And the extra epoxy is just going to ooze out on the top where I can wipe it away. Looks about right. Okay, now the thing is, I also want to check the depth. So let's see, I have some calipers here somewhere. They're right here. Alright, they're right here. Where's my calipers? Yeah, they are. Okay, I have them right in front of me. Alright, so I have this is the depth that I need. And I'm going to clean that up just a bit more. Wow, just a little bit more. Actually has to go in quite far. Alright, that's it. That's down as far as it should go. It looks really far, but that's where it needs to be. And I just want to make sure that there's no epoxy. Oops, I think there is. In the way of the threads. At the bottom. Now, there might be a little bit. There's a little bit of epoxy on the bottom of that bolt. Try that again. Thing is, I don't want, you see how the excess kind of came up? I don't want that to happen at the bottom where it fills up with epoxy. Okay, so I think we're okay. Because once that epoxy hardens, like, I'm never going to be able to get down in there. Okay, yeah, that's going to be fine. I'm never going to be able to get down in there to clean it out. And we'll just let that harden. That should take, I don't know, like an hour or so, but I mean, it's pretty much, it's set. That insert is not moving.